Hey, how's it going everybody? Cardtrix here. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys one of my favorite impromptu card tricks as of right now. This one is known as On Impulse, and it's a really great one. This effect will allow the spectator to find their own card under pretty much the most impossible conditions. Now, I'm not going to be performing the trick for you guys today. I'm only going to be giving you guys the tutorial, and this is due to the fact that this trick cannot be performed without a spectator. I physically need a spectator present if I wanted to perform this trick. And again, because I don't, I cannot perform it, so therefore I will only be giving you guys the tutorial. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of what would happen in the trick, and then we will get into the tutorial afterwards. So what's going to happen in this trick is the magician is going to take a deck of cards, which can be borrowed from the spectator, by the way, and they're going to shuffle it up until the spectator is satisfied. In fact, the deck can even be handled by the spectator themselves, and they can shuffle the deck up as much as they'd wish. Once the deck is thoroughly shuffled, the magician is going to instruct the spectator to pick out any card from the deck at random. This really is a 100% free choice. The spectator is then going to go ahead and pick out a card, look at it, memorize it, and once they've committed it to memory, they're going to place it back into the center of the deck, and the magician is going to shuffle up the deck to further lose the card somewhere in the middle, meaning he has no idea what the card is or where it is in the deck. At this point, the magician is going to hand the deck over to the spectator, and he's going to give them the following instructions. He's going to have them hold the deck face down in their hand. He's going to tell them to deal cards one at a time into a singular pile face up on the table. And he's going to have the spectator use their intuition to find their card. So they're dealing the cards face up on the table. And whenever the spectator just gets this gut feeling or this urge that the next card they're about to deal is their card, they're not going to turn it face up. They're going to deal it onto the table in that same pile, but face down. Once they've dealt that card, the magician is now going to instruct the spectator to deal the rest of the cards one at a time face up on that same pile. And what the spectator is going to notice is out of the 51 face-up cards that they saw, not one of them was their card. So the spectator comes to the conclusion that the one card that they freely stopped at, this really is their choice, no force, the one card that they decided to leave face down actually is theirs. And sure enough, the magician picks up the deck, spreads through, removes the one card that was face down, and sure enough, it happens to be the spectator's selection. This is a wonderful trick. You guys are really going to love this one, so let's learn how to do it. Alright guys, hopefully you stuck around for the tutorial. This trick is actually really easy to do for the most part. It only requires minimal sleight of hand, but it shouldn't be anything too complicated for most of you out there. There is one prerequisite that you guys do need to learn, and that is the gambler's cop. If you already know how to do the gambler's cop, then you can proceed with this video. If you don't, well, you're in luck, because recently I put out a YouTube video teaching 3 palming methods, and that's what a gambler's cop is, by the way. It's a palming method. And included in that video is the gambler's cop. So if you don't know how to do the gambler's cop, then click this link right up here and go to 1 minute and 20 seconds in that video, and that will teach you the gambler's cop. But for those of you who know how to do it, let's learn how to do this trick. Okay, so the trick is completely impromptu. All you're going to be needing is any deck of cards, and the deck can be borrowed if you wish. So you or the spectator at this point can proceed to shuffle up the cards as much as you or he or she would like. It does not matter how much this deck is mixed up. But once everyone is satisfied with the mixture of the deck, then you can proceed. So from here, you're going to have your spectator go ahead and choose any card that they wish. This really is a 100% free choice. So for this example, let's just say they reach in and pull out this card right here, in this case, the 8 of Hearts. Now keep in mind, in a real performance, you are not going to know what this card is. We are just taking a look at it for tutorial purposes. So once the spectator has a card, they are going to hand it back to you. And from here on, you are going to control the card to the bottom of the deck using your favorite method. Now, I'm not going to go over how to control the card in depth in this tutorial, but the method that I like to use is I push the card in, but I obtain a break on the card as so. Now, you're going to transfer the pinky break to a thumb break, and then you would do a double undercut. to control it to the top, and then use the overhand shuffle by peeling off their cards singly, and then over shuffling the rest of the cards on top, and that will bring the card to the bottom. That's the method that I like to use, but again, you do not have to use that method. You can use whatever method that you feel comfortable with. So once you have the spectator selection controlled to the bottom, you are going to proceed to palm the card out of the deck using the Gambler's Cop. Again, if you don't know how to do it, then refer to that video link that I showed you earlier in the video. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to use a little bit of misdirection to get the card into a cop position. Once you're in a cop position, you're going to take the deck and you are going to hand it to the spectator as you take the hand with the copped card and drop it to the side of your waist casually, drawing no attention to it whatsoever. Now, as you're going to learn in that palm video that teaches the Gambler's Cop, angles are very important, and if you angle this hand correctly, no one is going to see this card. But the benefits of using it in this trick is the action of handing the spectator the deck will actually cover up the move, because when you're pushing the deck forward toward them, it uses misdirection, because everyone's going to be looking at the deck, including the spectator receiving the deck, and no one's going to be looking at this hand, because again, it's just dropping to the side of your waist casually. So at this point in the trick, the spectator is going to be handling the deck and following your instructions. Now, this is really what I want you guys to keep in mind, is during the entire process in which the spectator is handling the deck, you are just holding this card at the side of your waist in a Gambler's Cop, and no one's going to see it. So, I'm going to leave the card right here in the corner of the camera, but keep in mind, as I'm teaching you what the spectator is about to do, this card is in a Gambler's Cop position at the side of my waist the entire time. Just do not forget that, okay? So what's going to happen is the spectator, again, is going to take the deck at this point. They're going to hold it face down in their hand. They're going to start dealing cards face up, one at a time, just like this. And when the spectator, when they just get a feeling that they've arrived at their card, let's say the spectator thinks this is their card, you're going to have them not flip it over, but deal it face down as so. And then you're going to tell them to deal through the rest of the cards as so. And the reason why you have them deal through however many cards are remaining is to see if they see their card in the deck. And this is what's great, is the spectator is already going to jump to early conclusions, because they're going to deal through the entire deck. And they're going to notice that out of all the face-up cards that they saw, they didn't see their card. But they know they left one card face down, so they're already jumping to conclusions that that is their card, and they're already going to be freaking out at this point. But now keep in mind, this card, again, is still in a Gambler's Cop position at the side of your waist. The card that the spectator left face down really is just a random card, and you're going to be pulling off a very sneaky switch in just a moment. So the spectator has dealt through the cards and followed your instructions at this point. Again, for like the millionth time, this card is still sitting in a cop position at the side of your waist. So you're going to pick up the deck that's on the table, and you're going to take your hand with the copped card, and you're going to bring them together as so, and in doing so, you're secretly loading their selection onto the bottom of the deck without the spectator knowing it. Now, this is something you're going to want to practice in a mirror to make sure that when you're bringing up the copped card, that it is not flashing whatsoever. But a pro tip that I can give you as of this moment is, while you're bringing your hands together, use a little bit of misdirection just to kind of take the heat off your hands. It'll just make you do this nice and easily and not like get tense and worried about it as much. So an example I can give you is, as you're bringing your hands together, look the spectator in the eye and ask them a simple question like, is there any particular reason why you thought this card was yours and why you didn't go further, or just something like that that can just take the energy and take the focus off your hands. It's basically, you're kind of doing this on the offbeat in a way, is basically what's happening. So again, you have the card in the cop position, you're picking up the deck, and you can say, now, was there any particular reason the card that you stopped at you really thought was yours? And as you're saying that, you're just loading the card onto the bottom. You've taken all the heat off your hands, and no one has seen the card go on the bottom. It's gone completely undetected as of this point. So, From here, this is the scenario you are left in. You have a bunch of face-up cards with one random card face down in the middle, and then you have their card face down on the bottom. So, here's how you are going to close out this trick. You have the deck in your hands. You're going to spread through to the face down card. You can say, here's the card that you really believed was yours. You didn't think it was any of these. I like to say that, and I just spread through to most of the face-up cards, showing that there are no other face-down cards. But obviously, you don't want to spread down too far because they will see this card. So you want to make sure you don't flash their card, and just be careful with how far you spread. So from here, just square up everything nice and neatly. Spin out the face-down card. Leave it on top of the deck. And here is where the switch is going to take place. So from here, you're going to get a break underneath the bottom card. I like to buckle the bottom card, but you can use any method that you wish in getting your break. So once you have the pinky break, you're going to transfer that pinky break to a thumb break, as so. Once you have the thumb break, you're going to swing cut about half the cards into your opposite hand. You're going to bring this other hand over, and you're going to drop off the thumb break, as so. And in that action, once you've dropped it off, you're going to take that top pile and just spread it out, saying you could have picked any of these cards. So now you've just taken their card and loaded it on top of the face down random card as so. So now you're ready to close out this trick. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a break underneath the top two cards. I like to shrivel up the back, but you can use any method that you wish. So once you have your pinky break, you are going to ditch and flip over that random card by using the KM move, which looks a little something like this. So you can see in that action, I am now left with just the Spectator selection, and that 3 of spades has been ditched right here on the deck. So here's how you're going to do this. It actually doesn't take a lot of practice. It's a very easy move. So you have the pinky break. You're going to come over to the double, and you're going to drag it to the edge as so, as if you were going to flip it over for a double lift. But you're going to stop here. Then you're going to take the hand with the deck, and you're going to just fold it in as so. And in this action, what's happening is these 4 fingers right here are contacting this card. And under this contact, you are just going to pull out their card singularly while your 4 fingers retain that card in this position. And this will leave you with the 8 of hearts, their selection. So let's look at that one more time. You have the 2 cards face down on top. You now have a pinky break. Drag the cards out as if you were going to do a double lift, but stop here and fold the rest of the deck in as so. Your 4 fingers are contacting this card, and using those 4 fingers, you're going to retain that card in place as you pull out their selection. And this will now leave you with their card, ditching the other card at the bottom. And you're going to be doing this by saying they also could have picked any of these cards. So it would look like this. So, okay, blah, 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 you could have picked any of these cards, and you also could have picked any of these cards as well. So now you spread out all the cards, you're left with this card, and now you are free to show that the one card that was face down really was the Spectator selection the entire time. So anyways, guys, that is on Impulse. I really hope you guys enjoyed this trick. Please let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I will see you guys for my next video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Cardtrix 8 signing off.